top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Appointment of top judicial posts. The president says he is still examining the issue. Day 12 election fraud trial. Parag, Hughes clash in heated courtroom showdown. 2 years later, Madia fire victims remembered. Calls renewed for National Day of Remembrance. And leaders must be solution-oriented regarding youth empowerment in Guyana. Youth advocate CLAYON HALLEY. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Thursday, 22nd May 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We will tell you this evening that now in an election year, President Irfan Ali is still examining the issue of appointment of 2 top judicial posts. You'll hear more from Travis Chase.
In spite of numerous calls for the confirmed appointments of a Chancellor of the Judiciary and a Chief Justice, Guyana's President Irfan Ali, when pressed for an update on when those substantive appointments will be made, would only say that he is still examining the issue. The President spoke with reporters on the sidelines of the swearing-in of several appeal court judges.
The matter of the Chancellor and Chief Justice is important to me. It's important to our country, and we'll continue to work to find a solution.
Substantive appointments of a Chancellor and Chief Justice have not happened in at least 20 years in Guyana. Justice Sonia Parag was appointed to act as Chancellor to succeed Justice Carl Singh, who retired in 2017, after he acted in that position for 12 years. Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire has also been acting as Chief Justice since 2017.
So I don't look at the judiciary in isolation of its entirety. So I will continue to do that.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norton has already written to President Ali, informing him that he supports the substantive appointment of Justice Sonia Parag and Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire as Chancellor and Chief Justice. The President seems unmoved by that.
Counter proposal to what?
Chancellor.
No, but
Yes.
a counter proposal means there's a proposal.
There was a proposal by a leader of the opposition.
No, you have to get this thing right. The Constitution provides how the Chancellor and the Chief Justice are appointed. And I'm sure the leader of the opposition is aware of the process in the appointments.
In 2022, President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Justice Adrian Saunders, had called for the immediate substantive appointment of Chief Justice and the Chancellor, referring to the non-appointments of the top judicial posts as a notable stain. Justice Saunders, who was at the time delivering the keynote address to members of the legal fraternity during a dinner hosted by the Guyana Bar Association, said, quote, "As the president of your final court, I believe I have a right and a duty publicly to express the view that Guyana should not let this year pass and not remedy this regrettable situation," unquote. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Travis. A fiery exchange erupted in court on day 12 of the ongoing election fraud trial as Minister of Local Government Sonia Parag returned to the witness box and clashed repeatedly with Defense Counsel Nigel Hughes. The high-tense exchange prompted several interventions from Acting Chief Magistrate Faith Magusti. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
The trial resumed on Thursday at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where attorney-at-law Nigel Hughes pressed Sonia Parag on whether the statements of polls in her possession confirmed a win for the PPPC in Region 4. She responded, no. Hughes then asked if it was their expectation on March 5, 2020, that once she raised an objection, the returning officer or deputy returning officer had to agree with it. Yes, she responded. The defense lawyer further questioned her understanding of the election process, asking whether objections not upheld by GCOM officials could lead to disruption. Parag answered, quote-unquote, I think the GCOM officials at the time disrupted the process. When Hughes pressed her to directly answer the original question, Prosecutor Lachmi Muhammad interjected, stating, quote-unquote, Your Worship, if that's the witness's answer. Magistrate Magusty swiftly addressed the exchange, saying, quote-unquote, "I believe this is cross-examination and all persons are familiar with the process. When a question is asked, an answer should be given to the question asked. That is how I have seen law being practiced." The magistrate then instructed Parag to respond directly. The minister replied, quote-unquote, "I think as a citizen, in this particular case, yes, they were rigging an election." Tensions continued to mount as Hughes and Parag began speaking over each other. Magistrate Magusty again stepped in, reminding both, quote-unquote, "As I understand it, we are not permitted to speak over each other, even as a witness." The defense then shifted focus to GCOM's procedures for addressing complaints and grievances. Hughes asked Parag if she was aware of those protocols, stating that they did not include disruptive behavior. Parag retorted, quote-unquote, "I don't see a procedure that say rigging either." Hughes also asked whether, as a party participant in the 2020 elections, she could confirm if a final declaration of results was ever made between March and May 2020. Parag answered, quote-unquote, "I know they attempted to make one." Frustrated by what he described as evasive responses, Hughes sought the court's assistance. The magistrate addressed the issue, urging the prosecution to help the witness respond clearly, emphasizing that a witness on the cross-examination must answer directly and not digress because of personal convictions. During the afternoon session, Attorney-at-Law Dexter Todd began his own cross-examination, posing a fresh series of questions to the witness. The matter is set to continue on Friday. Tiana Ko reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Tiana. 2 years after one of the deadliest tragedies to strike Guyana's education system, families are still grieving and calls for national remembrance continue to grow louder. A memorial ceremony held in Maikobi Region 8 brought together relatives, friends, officials, and community members to honor the 20 children who lost their lives in the tragic Madia Dormitory fire. We have more details for you.
20 children who lost their lives in the devastated Madia Dormitory fire were solemnly remembered on Wednesday during a memorial ceremony held in Maikobi village. Family members, friends, schoolmates, and government officials gathered to honor the second anniversary of the tragedy that shook the nation. The event was filled with emotional tributes, songs, poems, and candlelight vigils that paid homage to the young lives lost and reflected the ongoing grief and resilience of their families and communities. Joining the observance was Minister of Public Works Juan Egil, who offered words of comfort and reaffirmed the government's continued support to the bereaved families. Meanwhile, the Partnership for National Unity APNU renewed its call for May 21 to be officially designated as, quote-unquote, Madia Children Fire Victims Day. The opposition party says a permanent national memorial and annual observance are essential to ensuring the tragedy is never forgotten. In a statement, APNU emphasized that the remembrance must go beyond symbolic gestures. The party urged that the Madia fire serve as a catalyst for serious reforms in public safety, accountability, and governance. Quote-unquote, "The 20 young lives must not be lost in vain. To truly honor them, Guyana must become a safer, more caring place, especially for children and other vulnerable citizens," the party said. The government launched a commission of inquiry and reached financial settlements with some families. However, several parents have since filed lawsuits in the High Court, seeking additional compensation for the deaths of their children. The fire broke out late on the night of May 21, 2023, killing 19 female students aged 12 to 17 and a 5-year-old boy. According to police, the blaze was allegedly started by a female student who was upset about her phone being confiscated by a dorm staff. The student, who had reportedly been suspended in the past for disciplinary breaches, allegedly made threats following a confrontation. Investigations said the fire originated in the bathroom area of the building. Survivors recalled vacant screams, thick smoke, and flames spreading rapidly through the dorm. Some of them managed to escape by breaking windows and jumping from the building. Others were overcome by smoke and suffered severe burns. In February this year, the teenage suspect, who was 15 at the time of the fire, was committed to stand trial in the High Court on 20 counts of murder. Tiana reporting for the HGP Night 3 News.
Thank you, Tiana. More news after this break. Stay with us.
Meet Mom. She's not just the wake up at the crack of dawn, make breakfast and pack bags kind of mom. She also gets her fitness game on. Yeah, she's the don't let anyone forget anything kind of mom. At the same time, she's the runs her own business, clothes, and deals kind of mom, who finds time to get down and boogie with the kids after school, remodel the house, bake cake, host dinner, and even play her favorite game at the end of the day kind of mom. So let's celebrate Mom, because to us, she's so much more.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc. powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
With 70% ethyl alcohol, Madia Foam Hand Sanitizer eliminates 99.99% of all germs and even moisturizes in the process, leaving your skin clean and hydrated. Madia Foam Hand Sanitizer. How do you stay clean?
Did you know that local businesses are now providing 100% of several key services to the oil and gas sector? This highlights the significant achievements in local content development. In 2020, only 5% of selected services were provided by Guyanese companies. Presently, that number has reached 100%. Some of the fully Guyanese provided services include scaffolding, transportation, and immigration support, with the inclusion of visa applications. The expansion of local capacity has led to increased investments and job creation. Hundreds of companies are benefiting from the oil and gas industry, and so can you. To access opportunities like these in the oil and gas sector, visit the local content secretariat's supplier portal.
You watching the HGP Nightly News. Welcome back. The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union Limited on Thursday opened a two-day seminar aimed at promoting financial awareness for credit unions and cooperatives. Dacia Richards reports.
The seminar, which is the first of its kind in Guyana, is held under the theme Intelligent and Inclusive Finance and is hosted by the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union, GPSCCU, and the Caribbean Development Education Program, CARIBDE. Melvin Edwards, former chairman of the World Council of Credit Unions, in his remarks, highlighted that the building out of credit unions plays a major part in countries.
We believe that elevating credit unions to a higher bar of competitiveness must mean that we must link to international standards.
The former chairman added that the legislative framework for credit unions is critical to its continuous development.
A 1948 piece of legislation, with all due respects to its crafters, cannot be relevant in the year 2025 and moving forward.
Mr. Edwards added that the Caribbean region has begun to pass harmonized national legislation for credit unions and are in the middle of another cycle.
What the movement should do, if I may advise, rather than wait on the commissioner or the government to hand you a piece of legislation, a proactive board will hire the necessary expertise.
Attorney at law Stephen Fraser, who specializes in financial and banking laws, says there is a need for an upgrade to the credit union legislation.
For you to be able to take advantage of modernized cooperative legislation, you have to come up to par.
The two-day seminar, which concludes on May 23, will also focus on the building of responsible and inclusive financial ecosystem in credit unions. For AGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
The Working People's Alliance, the WPA, is questioning the delay in renaming the Guyana Police Force the Guyana Police Service. An anti-corruption unit has also been recommended by the party. You'll hear more from Travis Chase.
In April of 2024, Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben told the Regional Security System Council of Ministers that the Guyana Police Force will be renamed the Guyana Police Service. The Home Affairs Minister said that such a name change would be in keeping with the modernization plans for Guyana's security sector. On Monday, the Working People's Alliance called for the Guyana Police Service to be instituted immediately.
Today, we say, change the name of that institution without delay.
This change has been recommended for many years and was brought up at the first meeting between former Public Security Minister Kemrad Ramjatan and the Police Reform Change Board. Minister Ramjatan had noted then that the change is meant to emphasize the service orientation of the police as opposed to the term force. Leader of the Working People's Alliance, Dr. David Hines, pointed out that a committee be established to listen to the communities on how and if they are affected by the agents of the Guyana Police Force and what recommendations should be in place before the renaming process is completed.
It is the people in their community who have been the major victims of the misuse of power by the police, and their views must be at the top of the heap.
Given the widespread views that the Guyana Police Force is under political directives, the WPA has also proposed an anti-corruption unit be established. This unit, according to the WPA, should comprise reputable ex-police officers, legal experts, other anti-corruption and human rights experts.
As part of the anti-corruption initiative, the wages and salaries of members of the institution must be upgraded to the level of the regional.
Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Travis. Solutions to address social challenges facing the nation's youths must be forthcoming, so says CLAYON Haley, a youth advocate who is adamant that local policymakers, irrespective of political persuasions, must take youth development seriously. Antonio Day reports.
Youth unemployment remains a problem here despite the diversification of key industries like oil and gas and agriculture. CLAYON Halley, a youth advocate, is adamant that politicians must now truly prioritize the needs of their constituents, especially the next generation of youths.
What we have seen over time is that young people are oftentimes used as tokens, as I would put it, whether it be during an electoral period, it would be in government, where you might create a construct for youth involvement, but that is all that you did, create a construct and not have meaningful engagement.
Political leaders need to take a more comprehensive approach to active youth development, Halley said, as opposed to merely relying on party manifestos, which might have little bearing on finding solutions.
So mechanisms of solutions towards eliminating whatever issues it is that young people are faced with. As I said, it varies depending on where they are.
Halley, who has been active in youth advocacy for several years, noted that the issue of youth unemployment remains a great challenge locally. In order to address this existential issue, he suggested that policymakers create a needs assessment plan.
Do we look at encouraging young people and creating an environment for them to start up their own businesses? Well, we have goal and all these things that are nice. Young people are going, getting educated, getting their qualifications, getting their documents, but then there isn't a space for them, be it public or private sector.
Policymakers should look at the labor market to determine what is relevant and what positions are in demand, offering a balance in the job market, he articulated.
So that we can ensure in the next 3+ years, the young people who would have completed their programs, they're able to find employment because you have identified a need. And so that is what I mean when I say we need to have a solution-oriented approach.
I am Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Antonio. More news after this break.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
It's the grand finale you don't want to miss. Kapisa Kuno Beach Party is the ultimate way to wrap up HJ's Genesis Independence Weekend 2025. Performing live, dancehall sensation Mally Dawn, soca superstar voice Guyana's Princess Omaya Hall, and Mr. Rubber Waist Jumo Primo. Get your tickets at all regular ticketing locations. General admission $4,000. Stage your front $15,000. Gates open from 5 p.m. Be there as we bring the curtains down on a weekend of unforgettable moments. Powered by Hits and Jams, Kapisa Drinks, Enet, Churches, Jay's Auto Imports, Jai Sign, Star Rentals, Coors Light, Stag Beer, Cricket Carnival, Guyana Cruise Effects, Blackwater Security, and One Guyana. Kapisa Kuno Beach Party.
Meet Mom. She's not just the wake up at the crack of dawn, make breakfast and pack bags kind of mom. She also gets her fitness game on. Yeah, she's the don't let anyone forget anything kind of mom. At the same time, she's the runs her own business, closing deals kind of mom, who finds time to get down and boogie with the kids after school, remodel the house, bake cake, host dinner, and even play her favorite game at the end of the day kind of mom. So let's celebrate Mom, because to us, she's so much more.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching the HGP Nightly News. The mining town of Linden is set to receive the largest renewable energy initiative in Guyana, with the inking of a $22.58 million contract for 15 megawatts of power. More details from Daisy Richards.
On Thursday, the contract was signed for a 15-megawatt renewable energy initiative in Linden, valued at US $22.58 million, and is described as the largest energy initiative of its kind in Guyana. According to a press release, the installation will comprise of 3 solar farms at Block 37, Decorah and Retrieve, that forms part of the Guyana Utility Scale Solar Photovoltaic GUYANA program. The project comprises of a battery energy storage system at the new Linden Electricity Company substation, a new transmission line, and upgraded interconnection infrastructure to help with the improvement of electricity stability in the region. Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, who was present at the contract signing, highlighted that the new project comes on the heels of a promise to improve the livelihood of Guyanese. The GUYANA project, according to the Prime Minister, is funded by Guyana's resources earned in its forest partnership with Norway, adding that the funds are being used to develop nationwide sustainable energy initiatives. The project is expected to produce more than 20,000 megawatt-hour of clean energy annually that will mitigate approximately 17,200 tons of carbon dioxide emissions a year. The Prime Minister added that the new energy initiative is just the beginning for development in Linden. Acting Chief Executive Officer of Guyana Power and Light, Kesh Nandlal, said, quote, "This project is of critical national importance. The people of Linden and indeed all of Guyana are counting on its timely and high-quality delivery," unquote. The renewable energy installation will support the transformation of Linden's electricity grid that will shift from manual operation to automated systems. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Thank you, Daisy. Antonio Day reports now that ExxonMobil Guyana Limited has until the end of May to respond to the cost recovery claims of $214 million US dollars pertaining to the oil company's expenses from 1999 to 2017. Here is more.
The Ministry of Natural Resources has given oil conglomerate ExxonMobil until May 31st to respond to audits of expenses from the Scarborough Block for the period 1999 to 2017. The sum totals $214 million US, and the co-venturers HES and CINA have since submitted updates that are currently under review. The second audit, covering 2018 to 2020, received $7.2 billion US in expenses, with $65.1 million US not accepted by the government. The third audit, covering the period 2021 to 2023, was completed and submitted to the government. The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, which plays a key role in the government's efforts on the three audits, is reviewing the initial report. RAM has issued a pre-action notice to both offices after several unsuccessful attempts to obtain information about the oil and gas sector from the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Office of the Commissioner of Information.
Every single one of those requests has been ignored, dismissed, or buried under a pile of verbosity, ego, and contempt.
Ram, an ardent commentator and critic of the state on the oil and gas sector, has expressed grave concerns regarding the incumbent regime's management of the industry. The attorney contends that given the intricacies of the sector, the government is not exercising precautions.
And if you look, we hear about how much money is being spent and put into the economy. Guyana may make up a large number, but in terms of the real value, we don't get it. We're losing out on oil and gas.
I am Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Turbo with a new look, new style, with the same great taste in the 250 ml can. Everybody run out now. Go and go grab one. Me charge up with a turbo 250 ml at your favorite spot. Wait, sell. New look, new can, same vibes. Jinxing, energize up your life. Vibes up, work time, anytime we are turn up the party with turbo can. Turbo can, turbo can, turbo can. Now available in the new 250 ml can. Turbo energy drink. Charge up today.
It's that time of the year to unleash your creativity, unleash your style, unleash your vibes.
Hits and Jams Entertainment presents the biggest fashion event of 2025.
Soca and Wine.
Fashion Unleashed.
Wine, wine, wine. Wine, wine, wine. Soca and Wine. Soca and Wine. Soca and Wine. Unlock your fashion sense and let's party together in a world where fashion meets music and the widest array of wines. Soca and Wine 2025.
Fashion Unleashed.
On Sunday, the 25th of May.
At the Marriott parking lot.
Super early bird tickets, $10,000. Available at www.hjexperience.com and HJ Box Office. Soca and Wine 2025.
The Ministry of Education wishes to announce that the Because We Care Cash Grant and the Uniform and School Supplies Grant will begin distribution from May 12, 2025. Please note, however, that distribution will begin later in May and in some cases June for certain regions. Therefore, we encourage all parents and guardians to consult the published distribution schedule to confirm when their grant will be available.
So, what's being given this year?
The grant has been increased to $55,000 per child. This includes $50,000 for the Because We Care Cash Grant and $5,000 for the Uniform and School Supplies Grant.
Who qualifies for this grant?
All public and private school learners from nursery year 1 to grade 10 who are registered and attending school are eligible. In grade 11, only students who will register for CAPE grade 12 in September qualify, along with current grade 12 students who will be continuing to grade 13. For children entering nursery this year, they must have been registered by March 28, 2025.
how do I collect the grants?
The parent or assigned guardian of the child can uplift the grant at the child's school. Just make sure to bring a valid form of ID, your national ID card, passport, or driver's license.
What if I don't have any of those IDs?
No worries, your identity can be verified by a senior official in your community, such as the school's principal or village tusho.
Suppose I can't go myself to collect it. What then?
You can authorize someone else to collect the grant on your behalf.
What happens if I miss the date?
If you miss the scheduled date at your school, a later collection date will be announced. But this will only happen after the national distribution is completed, so it's best to collect it as scheduled if possible. Got more questions? Check the Ministry of Education's social media pages or contact your child's school for more information. In service to you, because we care.
Good evening. Welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News, starting with news in Barbados. Chad Blackman, the big man with a big passion and on a big mission, also got a big win in the St. James North last night. The former diplomat, now entering politics for the first time after a year of preparation, was overwhelmingly elected as the new Member of Parliament for the constituency previously held by his mentor, Edmund Hinkson, in a one-sided by-election. Blackman defeated Felicia Dujon, DLP, Stephanie Williams, Community Empowerment Party, and Alex Mitchell, Bajan Free Party. Recalled from Geneva over a year ago, Blackman received 2,723 votes, while Dujon had 468, Williams 21, and Mitchell 7 out of 3,231 valid votes cast in the constituency, with 8,538 registered voters. 12 votes were spoiled. Still with news in the Caribbean region, former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony has announced he will not be a candidate for the St. Lucia Labour Party in the 2026 general election, marking his exit from active politics. Anthony, 74 former Prime Minister from 1997 to 2006 and 2011 to 2016, will not endorse any candidate for the VIOC's Fort South constituency he represents. He told supporters at a public meeting in the constituency on Wednesday night that they should first hear the plans and proposals of the candidates for the constituency, and I quote, assess how they interact with you, how they express their commitment to the St. Lucia Labour Party, and how they will campaign to win your confidence and support. End of quote. And finally, with news in the United States, the Supreme Court on Monday let the Trump administration for now remove protections from nearly 350,000 Venezuelan immigrants who had been allowed to remain in the United States without risk of deportation under a program known as the Temporary Protected Status. The court issued a brief unsigned order without reasons typical for emergency applications. No vote count was provided, but Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson indicated that she would have denied the administration's requests. The justices announced they would allow the Trump administration to end protections pending appeal of the case, potentially allowing the administration to move ahead with deportations. The justices also appear to suggest that some of the Venezuelans who had been able to receive documentation of their legal status before the Trump administration terminated the program could sue to challenge their deportations. Thank you for watching. I am Antonio Day.
Appointment of top judicial posts. President says he is still examining the issue. Day 12 of the election fraud trial. Parag, Hughes clash in heated courtroom showdown. 2 years later, Madia victims remembered. Calls renewed for National Day of Remembrance. And leaders must be solution-oriented regarding youth empowerment in Guyana. Youth advocate Clayton Haley. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm ALETHEA Grant. Thanks for watching.
Guyana.